Welcome back. Jason McIntyre, Greg Jennings in for Whitlock and Wiley. Houshmandzadeh's back with us. Let's move to Cleveland, where the Browns are getting serious hype after a promising first year from Baker Mayfield and some big moves this offseason, including trading for OBJ. In fact, the Browns' hype just isn't confined to Cleveland. Vegas is projecting 9 wins for Baker and company, putting them in a tie atop the AFC North with Pittsburgh. Greg, are the Browns getting too much hype?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, what is not to like about the Cleveland Browns? And when have we gone into a season really excited to see the Cleveland Browns? Outside of last year because of Hard Knocks, and it makes you fall in love with the team, and they do a great job with that. I love what the Cleveland Browns are doing. I think what their general manager has formulated as far as a roster, he's trying to win. He's trying to get a lot of players that he knows can coexist, that have something to prove. And what I mean by coexist, I mean, everybody wants to talk about the acquisition of Odell Beckham Jr. and all of those things. But what's special about this acquisition is he and Jarvis Landry have always competed, but have competed not to challenge one another in a negative way, but to get the best out of one another every single time they're on the football field. I love it. Adding and having Baker Mayfield with this hype going in, a quarterback, your leader who really embraces all of this and is just as excited as I am personally. I love the Cleveland Browns and what they've been able to do. And I haven't even talked about the acquisitions they've added on defense. Yeah, Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson. Like, we're just looking at the offensive acquisitions, but defensively, they were already pretty sound and they've gotten better.
Yeah, well, let's not go overboard, okay, Greg? I'm going to give some pause for the city of Cleveland and Browns fans. First of all, let's start with the coach. Last year at this time, he was a quarterback coach, okay? Now he's in charge of a locker room with 2 of the strongest personalities in the league, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham. You know, all their offensive skill players, when you toss in Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, all those guys are under 30. And that leads to my second point, experience or lack thereof. I had our great stats team pull all the guys on the Cleveland roster with at least a playoff win. Bunch of guys you've never heard of who are backups, and their punter, Britton Colquitt, who won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, okay? This team has never really experienced any success, and I think mentally they're going to go through a big hurdle, TJ, when it's, hey, man, last year we were hunting everybody, we were going after people. Everybody has the Browns circled on their calendar this year. It's a big difference going from hunting to being the hunted.
Number one, the only way to get experience is to get it.
That's true.
Right? Now, when you look at, is the hype too much? I agree with Greg. It isn't. When you examine the NFL and look at rosters, the only rosters that are comparable right now, and obviously we're talking on paper, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and maybe
the Atlanta Falcons
the Jets
has a very electrifying
the Falcons defensively, they don't have offensively,
yes,
but defensively, they don't have what the Cleveland Browns has. The Cleveland Browns on paper, offensively and defensively, have one of the best rosters in the National Football League. I mean, it's 2 of the best receivers. You got a young quarterback that looks like he's going to be a top 10 quarterback here in the next year or 2. Defensively, they should be much better now with Sheldon Richardson and Vernon added to that defense. They don't have many weaknesses on paper. It's what you said, experience. The only way you can get that is to go out there and play and get it.
And I don't want to be like negative on the Browns here. This is a playoff team, but again, you've got to, crawl before you can walk if you're a baby. This Browns team's going to experience a lot of primetime games, TJ. They're going to be on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football a lot.
We'll know right away, Jason, because they play the NFC West. So you're playing Seattle, you're playing the Rams, you're playing the 49ers.
Yep.
And so you have to, and you're going to play the Patriots.
But I want to see how Baker Mayfield handles some adversity. Because again, last year, lights out at Oklahoma superstar. What happens if they start 1-3 and Odell Beckham's chirping and Jarvis Landry and then Nick Chubb and you got a lot of young guys?
Handle adversity. What happens when you get drafted #1 overall and they tell you you don't even have a chance to start at quarterback? Adversity right out the gate. So he's handled it already. What type of adversity?
Or you come out of high school and you can't get a scholarship and you got to walk on.
Yeah,
that's adversity, huh?
I like this team, and what John Dorsey is doing, he's getting players, albeit they have not won, but he has players that know what it takes to win. Hungry, talented players that when it comes down to the spotlight and the stars shining the brightest, do I have enough of them?
Okay, who's the locker room leader in Cleveland, guys? Give me a name.
Baker Mayfield has to be that guy.
Personality, what he has shown, it has to be Baker Mayfield.
That's not even in question.
He's shown that he doesn't have a problem with leading a team. He's shown that. In a rookie year, he's shown that I'll come out, I'll be the face, I'll say what I got to say.
So both of you have the Browns in the Super Bowl. Got it, okay.
No, we just, the hype is about,
do we believe the hype? And if we just go and look at their division, who do you like in their division? The Steelers have
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yes, because we've identified them as being very talented and having the experience. Baltimore is still they're the team that win the playoffs. Are we?
That's going to be a good division.
It's going to be a really good division.
Like your Bengals, where are they at?
They got a good roster. They just ain't put it together. So maybe they can.
Greg, you can tell them they're not going to the playoffs.
Hey, look, Cleveland.
I got a story for you off air.
Coming up, Cam Newton is making an outrageous sacrifice to get back to the Super Bowl. But will his teammates join him? Find out next. There you go. Thank you.
There you go, Jason.